Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the monthly MCLU or monthly compliance and legislation update. My turn this month. As many of you know, Letty and I play tag with each other. So I get August. So welcome everyone to the session. Looking forward to spending the next couple of hours. Those of you that know me, I usually joke and say to me, this is a bit of a gossipy session. It's a session that we catch up, not necessarily a session to deep dive things, but more just to keep you, give you an environmental scanning of the landscape as to what's happening in the last month. I'd like to welcome Sage and the delegates of Sage that are online with us this morning. As you can see, Sage is sponsoring the MCLUs, and we're really appreciative to that and for that. So thank you, Sage, for coming on board and being part of this. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the morning. On that, as we said, the MCLUs are usually a month behind in that we're covering July's work in August. It gives us time to sort of see what's going on and catch up and sort of comment on the happenings. If there's something absolutely urgent that's happened between now and then that we're needing to get out there, we will obviously communicate that. But Letty and I sort of draw the lines that I have July's data to present in August, and she'll obviously have August information to present in September and so forth. So that is the way we work. Most of you, I think, are familiar with me. Those of you that are new, welcome. Welcome to my style. I do really appreciate questions. I really do appreciate an interactive audience. I have started maybe to corral myself a little bit because we'll cover a section and then I'll look at the questions and comment. Don't want to get too distracted. MCLUs are funny because you prepare this work and half of you sitting thinking, will I have enough to talk about? And the other half of you thinking, do I have enough time to cover everything I need to cover? But these are your sessions. I always believe training is, you've taken time out of a really busy day, especially in August, especially this last week up to the 31st. I personally joke and say August is the Halloween month for accountants. It's the month that we get very little sleep and we have 1,000 deadlines, it feels like. We also suddenly realize how many clients we have because all of them have provisional taxes to pay. So I truly appreciate you taking your time out of your day to come and listen to me and to be part of the session. So I want to make it your session. So that is why I really encourage questions and I really encourage participation so that we can take this time to make it valuable and make it useful for you. Okay. So as we get to the end of each chapter, as it were, in today's session, I will look at the questions and see if there's anything I need to pick up on. Sometimes it's just fun to see the chattingness between delegates, and I won't respond necessarily to that, but I will try and pick up any comments I can that is relevant to the session as we go along. So please ask questions. SAAA are moderating them in the background. So you might not see a question pop up straight away, but it is there and it is being taken care of. As I mentioned, I think by this stage, I'm fairly well known by the SAAA audience. If you are a first timer, welcome. Lovely to see you again. I suddenly actually realized I'm wearing the same blouse that I have in my photo, although that photo needs to be updated. If you're wanting to find out who and what and where I am, there's my bio. I actually have to sort of trim that down a bit, but I've been doing this for a while. My areas of speciality are generally everything but tax. I'll talk to tax when we get to the taxation as to how I manage that in today's session. But this is who I am, this is what I am. And I look forward to, for example, I think on Thursday, we've got an ethics session. We're running a bit of a ethics series at the moment that I'm part of. So we did our first session last week and this week's personal ethics. Always a fun place to get to for accountants, not too technical, a bit of reflection, a little bit of sitting back and looking at yourself in the mirror a little bit, and hopefully sort of having a bit of a pulse check as to where you're at in your life and in your journey at this point in time. So that's Thursday's ethics session, if any of you are going to join me for that. Standard sort of table of contents, okay, at least the way that I run it. I did notice last month that Letty did change the agenda a little bit, and I'll look to that in my October session, but covering all the big areas. Okay, so the way we go about this for newcomers is we have this really broad spectrum of topics to look at, spectrum of areas to look at. Letty and I keep scanning the environment so that you don't have to, looking for topical issues, things that are happening, things that are important in the various different spaces, and then of course we bring them to you in the monthly updates. Okay, so I like to cover all the big areas and then see what else is interesting that you might be interested in. So that's the way the structure is going to be today. We do, for housekeeping's sake, take a break at 10, and just so you can grab a cup of coffee, just so that you can stretch your legs, shake it off, and think about life a little bit, and then come back. The reason I love doing these sessions, the reason I'm passionate about what I do, I think is encapsulated very much in Napoleon Hill's quote here: the way to success is through continuous pursuit of knowledge. To me, I think we never know enough. We never stop learning. Every day there's something new, especially in our profession. Things change, things evolve, and we have to keep on learning and keep on staying up to date for our clients, for ourselves. I think one of the things that is an identifier in our profession for professional accountants is this thirst of knowledge. We are always curious. We are always wanting to know more, wanting to expand more. And I think that is the way to success, is continually asking questions and wanting to find out more. So these MCLUs are very much in line with that, just giving you an idea what's happening in our profession, and giving you an idea where to go look for it. So one of the other things that you should find under your profiles is I upload my source documents to SAAA. So everything we discussed today, I think there might be one that isn't there, but that's okay. The source documents of it should be made available, so you can go and dig in a little bit deeper. So the actual presentation is a Contiki tour. We are giving you, showing you the highlights, showing you a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But if you want to go back and dig deeper into certain topics, it has been made available to you. Okay. So with all of that done and said, let's get onto the first topic of the day, which is obviously one of our meaty ones, being accounting. Now, I'm expecting the second half of this year to be much, much more intense. There are a lot of projects that are coming up for finalization. There are a lot of projects which we've been chewing on, and it's sort of almost been like, oh, it's still on the agenda. Oh, it's still on the agenda. Well, September, October are going to be quite interesting months for the International Accounting Standards Board, where they're finalizing many of their projects. Okay, so we always have the monthly update, okay, which is all very well and good, but some of the key things that have happened, as you can see, there's quite a bit that's been happening, is that the International Accounting Standards Board have updated their work plan. Okay, and when I looked at this updated work plan, I didn't see any real new projects coming up. Okay, you'll see just now, we'll talk about the direction that things are going in, but it really is a wrap up of a lot of old projects. So what has happened over time is that over the last couple of years is obviously everything got paused whilst we dealt with COVID, and now that's done. Okay, so the world is carrying on. It's now an endemic, it's not a pandemic. Yes, we've learned lessons, and there are a couple of lessons and a couple of questions that we are still putting to bed, but we kind of have wrapped this up with a bow. Okay, that phase of our journey is coming to a conclusion, and now they can sit back and say, you know what, we had all these projects that we were working on in 2019. We have kept an eye on them over the last couple of years, but now they need to be finalized. And from what I see from this work plan, September is it. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to my October session, because in October I can say this project's done, that project's done, the next project's done, these are the effective dates, this is what's happening, and this is what's going on. The biggest thing that I'm looking forward to in September is the exposure draft for IFRS for SMEs.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.